My career is in marine science. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer at the Gulf of Maine Research Institute in Portland. And hi.
Try not to. Oh, Lawrence High School. Yeah. Hi, I work at the junior high. I know you.
I'm John, by the way.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Marianne White.
Hi, Marianne. I was just starting up. My degree is in marine biology from the University of Maine. And as it says on the little poster there, my passion for science was really kindled by my high school biology teacher. He was just so innovative. He was a real prankster. Back in the 60s, you could get away with things like that. You can't now, I'm
right.
sure. So, he just really kindled my interest. And then my first marine biology teacher at the University of Maine sort of furthered that interest as well. And I was born and raised in New Hampshire, Maine, so I'm a local boy. But after doing my bachelor's degree at Maine, I went and did a PhD at the University of New Hampshire. And then when I was looking around for a job, I was offered a job in New Zealand. And I went to New Zealand and worked there for 30 years. And along the way, when I left New Zealand to come back to Maine, I was recruited to be the first chief scientist at the Gulf of Maine Research Institute back in 2004. So in those 30 years, I worked all around the world, every continent, over 50 countries. I set up a research program in New Zealand. I set up a research program in Africa for an international organization. I lived in Manila in the Philippines for about 7 months. Also lived in Africa for a while. So marine science, if you enjoy travel, marine science is a great field because it's very international and people collaborate all across the world. So I started off as a sort of a bench scientist and ended up managing people and programs and buildings and staff and ended up in the end managing a budget of $28 million a year, which I never thought I'd ever get there. I mean, my dream of being a marine scientist was to work in a laboratory and out in the field and on a fishing boat. But I ended up managing people instead, and I just love the career. And the reason I came back to Maine was to give something back to the region of the world that nurtured me. When the position opened up at GMRI, I really jumped at the chance. I always maintained that Maine would be the only place in the U.S. I'd ever move back to. So,
I know a friend of my son's just graduated from college in marine science.
Right.
He hasn't been able to find a job, so what kind of advice would you give him right now?
He's got a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Where from?
University of Connecticut.
Okay. If he can afford it, I would go on and get an advanced degree because competition in the marine science field is very, very tough. For a technical position at GMRI, we'll typically get 40 to 50 applicants, and we really don't employ anyone with less than a master's these days.
So not a lot of openings in this field right now?
No, because of funding cuts. Yeah. Everyone's facing. But I would encourage him to go ahead and get a master's if he can afford the time and the money.
That's coming for everybody right now.
Yeah.
Bachelor's degree isn't what it used to be.
No kidding.
No, I know. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, certainly.
You said you were in Africa and all those places. How different is it from there in Maine? I don't know if you answered that or not, but
how different?
Working in those countries from working over here in Maine and.
Oh, okay. Working in developing countries is just totally different. I mean, you've probably seen what's been happening in Haiti. And Haiti's a relatively wealthy country compared to most of Africa. I mean, people are really poor and they're struggling for food, water, basic existence. Security is a really big problem. It's just totally different way of living. I would strongly encourage anyone to have that experience of working overseas for a while, particularly in developing countries.
Well, I'm actually going over to Haiti with Kathleen King.
Okay.
I don't know if you met her. She's
No.
one of the workers here. We're going in a few months from now to build stoves and stuff.
Oh, really? Great.
So, yeah.
Great.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. No, it's a totally different experience, and you know, working in Africa and Southeast Asia really changed my life and the way that I view the world. So, it's a lot warmer.
Imagine. All places are warmer than Maine.
Yeah. So anything else? Or, I mean, I'm happy to keep talking.
Okay, so I'm wondering. I know you're a marine scientist. I've gathered that much. This is gonna be a silly question. What do you actually do as a marine scientist?
Well, most of my working career was working on marine fish species. And the work that I did was used to set fishing quotas that regulated commercial fishing industries. So the way that most fisheries are regulated is that you'll estimate how much fish is there and how much you can take out, and that'll be used to set a total catch quota for the commercial fishing industry. So that's my job was revolved around that.
And that's what you did all around, just going.
Yeah, that's what I still do. I do a lot of consultancy work for other countries and advise them on methods of setting quotas and how to go out doing it. So.
Did you take a lot of math in high school and in college? I teach math to middle school students.
Okay.
So is there a lot of math involved in this?
There is actually math and computer programming. Yeah. So, I mean, back in the 60s and when I went to high school and college, being a biology major, maths wasn't really stressed like it is now. I mean, I did as much mathematics as I could in high school, and then I took calculus and differential equations in college. The rest of it was self-taught after that. When I got into developing mathematical models in computer programming, so that was largely self-taught in the 70s. Because there wasn't much training back then.
Exactly.
So.
Well, the science teacher and I on our team, we try to integrate the two as much as we can.
Okay.
You know, and try to teach the kids that they're very closely related, and they do go together. Math and science.
Math and science, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's what we try to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's some very good college programs these days. If someone wants to get into that sort of mathematical modeling field of natural resources, so it is a very specialized field. It's not many of us around the world, quite honestly. Be less than 1,000 for that specialty. So if you're good in math and good in science and you enjoy doing that, there are a number of this is well beyond looking at what someone might do in college, but there are a number of PhD fellowships offered by the federal government that will pay a student $50,000 a year to go to do their PhD, and they're